a first look at the team that will represent the United States at the upcoming Olympics. Check out the Kraft starting lineups, and Lenny Wilkens going with a backcourt of John Stockton and Reggie Miller, Shaquille O'Neal at center, and Karl Malone and the hometown favorite Grant Hill are up front. For the U.S. select team, backcourt of Brevin Knight out of Stanford, Anthony Parker from Bradley, Tim Duncan, who Cheryl referred to, from Wake Forest, starting at center with Providence College's Austin Crocier and Paul Pierce out of Kansas. And here's Miller for three to open it up.
Well, I'm sure the select team is going to see plenty of hard, tough screens like that.
That was my second, I think, USA basketball experience. This one right here was the select team. I think it was after my freshman year in college. I was at University of Colorado on a tryout for the team. And we had Tim Duncan on the team, Brevin Knight. We had so many, all the stars, Shea Seals, who came out and had a huge game, that this game that we're talking about. But so many good players were on that team. And I can just remember, I was so happy to be on the team, because at that time, you're trying to gauge kind of where you're at, in relation to all the other top college players. So having the opportunity to be on the team and practice against these dudes every day, to not only see where you're at, but kind of, just make some friends and stuff like that. So it was sweet, man. And then when I knew we were going to play that exhibition game against the national team, some of my heroes, some of my idols, I was pumped up.
Get the shot off. Oh, beautiful play by Brevin Knight, the senior out of Stanford.
Very quick, excellent penetrator on the college level. He's 1 for 2. He had the first one rejected and was able to hit high off the glass. The Dream Team trailing 7-5, and Karl Malone threw the foul. And there is Mike Montgomery out of Long Beach, California. He has been head coach at Stanford the past 10 years, head coach of Montana for 8 years. Last 2 years got to the second round of the NCAA, and both times lost to UMass.
Now, there is an international rule that you have to take your free throw within 5 seconds. If you'll remember, during the Western Conference Finals, Utah against Seattle, the crowd in Seattle counting down Karl Malone, because in the NBA it's a 10-second rule, so Karl is getting it off a lot quicker.
Karl Malone is the one player that could be affected by that international rule. But you can see he did work on it. Here is Knight. Kept alive by Seals.
When that game started, each one of us on our team had no nervousness at all. We went into the game where we were calm. I mean, we went out and executed from the start. You could see we ran our first play, and it was a success for us. And I think from the beginning, Brevin Knight made some great passes, and I got some open looks. And from there on, we were just rolling. I mean, once you start sweating, once you just get out of the warm-ups, I mean, the jitters is gone, and you're just ready to play basketball.
Crocier, guarded by Malone. Seals gets inside. Shea Seals, entering his senior year at Tulsa, averaged 17 a game to lead Tulsa. 11-8 the score. The select team with the lead. Knight off the fake. Nice feed. And put home by Anthony Parker.
I wasn't starting on the team at the time. Brevin Knight was the starter. I was backing up Brevin. And, I was before the game, I can just remember pumping him up. He was about to play against John Stockton and Gary Payton, that was in their lineup. And I can remember him being a little nervous, but I was nervous too. We all were kind of nervous, but we all were just still saying, man, we belong to be here. We made this team. Let's go out there and just give it what we have. Nobody knew what to expect, really. And then, man, we got off to such a good start. Guys were hitting shots. And at first, we kind of felt like, yeah, they just not really taking us for real, but the game got real.
And it is 15-10. John Stockton, who played hurt during the course of the Western Conference final series, but he says he's okay. John Stockton injury hit right throughout the Olympics in Barcelona, so did not see that much action. Here's O'Neal with a series of moves, and Shaquille is blocked by Crocier. Knight leads the break. Pretty feed for Parker. And the USA select team leads 17-10, and they have the crowd on their side here at the Star.
Not only the crowd, but the bench players for the select team up as well, as they can't believe it. This team has struggled the last 2 days of practice.
Karl Malone cuts it to a 5-point lead, and they've been together for only 6 days. A team that will compete in August in Puerto Rico, seeking to qualify for the World Championships in Australia next summer. Miller on the break and blew the reverse.
I think we started off really playing well. And I do feel like they may have came into the game like, taking it a little lightly. These are just college kids coming in to play against the pros. And I think from the start, we came out really aggressive. We were knocking down shots. We were attacking them. And I think it definitely woke them up from the beginning because we were really clicking. We were knocking down shots. And you could see from the beginning that, we wasn't intimidated at all.
Allen Iverson and Ray Allen and Marcus Camby, Lorenzen Wright. So this lineup would have been a bit different, although these guys are certainly holding their own here at the early going.
And they've had a strange workout situation. It was about a month ago that they were involved in trials out in Colorado Springs. Now come in for 5 days for this and don't really get after it again for about another 20 days.
Swoops with the follow. Swatted out of bounds by Griffith and Leslie. Griffith crashing over press row. Bird with a pretty pass once again. Excellent. Quickly on the break again, Leslie finishes for Team USA.
Called blue ball. The Dream Team will hold on. The officials are Lonnie Dixon out of the WAC Conference, Wayne Unruh from the Missouri Valley Conference.
Brevin Knight going into his senior year, one of the top point guards in the country, along with Jacques Vaughn out of Kansas, and really has played very well in the past couple of seasons against Tyus Edney at UCLA a couple of years ago. And last year, or a year before, I should say, against Damon Stoudemire, he kind of held his own with those players. And Mike Montgomery thinks that Brevin Knight will be a first-rounder next June.
Foul on Hill. Scottie Pippen getting set to check in. First substitution for the Green Team, and he will replace Grant Hill.
Well, not that Grant Hill is not a good defensive player, but anytime Scottie Pippen steps on the floor, your whole defensive concept picks up dramatically.
And the excellent shooting continues. Crocier with a second field goal. Toby Bailey out of UCLA has come on for the first time off the steal. This is Bailey. Pulls it up against a fellow UCLA alum, Reggie Miller. That's Stockton with the intercept. Miller for three. Reggie opened the game by hitting the three-pointer.
That was a good defensive job by Tim Duncan, who actually slowed up the dribble of John Stockton and still protected the lane against big people.
And a three for Toby Bailey. First team all Pac-10 entering his junior season with the Bruins of UCLA. It's 24-12. The Green Team trailing by the 12 points. Scottie Pippen dumps it off. Here's Shaquille O'Neal. Remember, there was some concern as to whether Scottie Pippen would play for the Olympic team, coming off sort of ailments. Seals, oh, he is just unconscious. Shea Seals extends to a 26-14 lead. Chicago Bulls preferring that Pippen sit it out, but he said he wanted to play. According to Lenny Wilkens, he has looked very sharp. In fact, he told Len that he would not need surgery.
Well, he does not want to get it. Obviously, the Chicago Bulls want to do what's ever best for Scotty in that particular department. You mentioned they're not really happy with him playing in this, but Scottie Pippen with 3 weeks off since the finals. Anytime during that second half of the season when he had any chance to rest, he would always come back much stronger, but he really labored with the back, knee, and ankle injuries.
Here's Pippen with his first field goal attempt. We saw Charles Barkley check in for the first time. Gary Payton is on the floor. Gary Payton replacing the injured Glenn Robinson, and Maurice Taylor out of Michigan. Grew up here in Detroit, receiving a ovation during the introduction of the starting lineups. Maurice Taylor with his first field goal, 28-16. The Green Team is trailing. Nice pass. Barkley with the setup for O'Neal, and Shaquille will go to the line.
Charles Barkley bringing his team together along with Scottie Pippen and talking. Beautiful play here by Charles Barkley, attacking the basket, drawing Tim Duncan to help, and then a good effort by Duncan to get a good chunk of that basketball.
I can't remember, like, those dudes really, they took Tim Duncan very seriously. Shaq and Karl Malone and those dudes. I don't know that they took us all seriously, but until we started playing well. But Timmy, like, they showed Timmy a lot of respect early on, and I was kind of surprised by that.
Committing his first foul, sitting down. So Shaquille O'Neal, only 54% at the line during the regular season, converts 1 of 2. The Select Team now in front 28-17 with 12.5 remaining in this first half.
It'll be interesting to see what Brevin Knight can do against Gary Payton right now. This is why Payton has been added to the team, to put some pressure on in the backcourt and disrupt opponents' offense.
And Barkley with a hustle play to knock it free. This is Brevin Knight operating at point guard. Figures to play most of the way, and a foul is called. A nice setup for Brian Skinner, who had just checked in. Brian Skinner looking very good in the workouts during the week. Very strong, very physical player.
Well, first of all, you're not supposed to be able to penetrate and get into the lane against Gary Payton the way Brevin Knight did, and he receives a nice round of applause from the crowd and his bench. He did a terrific job of getting the Select Team off to a terrific start.
So I can just remember when I checked into the game, you know, I can just remember I kept telling myself, like pick up full court defensively, and like try to compete defensively just to get the all moment out of the way. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to, like, say I missed my first shot or two and then kind of, you know, that kind of like downward spiral. I wanted to, like, defensively say, I want to challenge these dudes. I want to see kind of where I'm at on the defensive end. And the offense just kind of came, you know, which is something that was always kind of, you know, my strong suit.
If that, but if you're, it doesn't matter how big you are. If you can get in the lane, make some shots from the perimeter, Tyus Edney has shown you can be an effective player in this league. He had a good rookie season with Sacramento.
Speaking of the Kings, Mitch Richmond of Sacramento has come on for the first time, and David Robinson has checked in. Robinson called for the pushing foul, and a timeout is taken. 11:53 to go. First half in a surprise 12-point lead for the U.S. Select Team.
They got to stop the penetration. Certainly wasn't the case when Brevin Knight was in the game. Guys?
All right, thank you, Cheryl. Brevin Knight sitting it out right now. It is Chauncey Billups of Colorado at the point guard position, and Barkley on the follow. So for Charles Barkley, his first field goal, and it's a 10-point lead for the U.S. Select Team.
And those are the kind of plays that the Dream Team is going to get anytime they can get their opponent to miss a shot or turn the ball over, or at least not even take a good shot. They'll just be able to get out and steamroll people at the other end. But when they have to keep taking it out of the net, it makes you play half-court basketball.
Kobe Bailey with another three. And watching the practice sessions, and we were not alone in the observation as we were checking out this USA Select Team. David Robinson is fouled. The major point was, you know, these guys don't have much from the outside. not able to shoot the ball, but that has not been the case here at the start.
Now David Robinson making a strong move into the post there, getting around Skinner, getting some help over there from Maurice Taylor as well. First of all, David Robinson looks cut. He looks like he, I don't mean cut in a bleeding kind of way, but his body is really in terrific shape right now. May have even lost a little bit of weight and got a little bit muscular. As David Robinson is no stranger to that free throw line, goes about 10 times a game during the regular seasons.
And a 75% free throw shooter. 32-20 the score. The select team 13 of 16 from the field. Here is Phillips. And Pippen tried to put it behind the back and lost it. Recaptured by Barkley. Barkley trying to set it up, deflected out. Dream team will maintain possession.
You can see the impatience on the looks of the faces of the Dream Team, and they're a little bit disappointed, or maybe a lot disappointed, the way they started this game out, and now trying to maybe force things at the offensive end when they get that chance for a fast break.
And it will be the U.S. select team in possession. Dream Team will play Brazil tomorrow afternoon at the Gund Arena in Cleveland. And we'll be there starting at 4 o'clock Eastern time right here on NBC. Wednesday, they'll play the Chinese Olympic team in Phoenix. Pierce, Skinner with the rebound, had it slapped away, but kept alive. Should be an entertaining visit for Charles Barkley on Wednesday, making the return to Phoenix.
Well, I have a feeling the crowd will welcome him with open arms and a big ovation. They don't seem to be having the problem with Charles as much as Charles is with the management of the Phoenix Suns for supposedly the way they have been shopping him during this summer.
Phillips extends to a 14-point lead. It's the biggest lead of the game. 34-20. Robinson, yes, and it counts. And Robinson will go to the line. Charles Barkley always very careful in framing references by saying that I love the fans of Phoenix. Nothing to do with them at all as you take another look at that gorgeous move by David Robinson.
You know what amazes me, Marv, how people can consider David Robinson soft. Here's a guy who's at 7 feet, slashes to the basket, drives hard, invites contact, loves to get to the free throw line. An outstanding defensive player, but he plays it a little bit on the finesse side when he can. He tries to be cute with it and blocking shots and that type of thing, but soft, no way.
34-23. Here is Taylor. And Barkley did not like the call. He felt last touched by the U.S. select team and had some words for the official, Wayne Unruh. Bailey will throw in. That was three-point range, and the save by Robinson. Green team with Payton and Richmond on the floor with Barkley, Pippen, and Robinson. It counts, and the foul. Charles Barkley playing very hard, trying to bring his team back. It is now a 9-point differential.
Well, everybody from Dream Team talking about what a terrific practice they had yesterday, and you can imagine what some of these scrimmages have been like. Here's Charles in the open floor, creating space, head fake, gets everybody up in the air. Charles powers to the basket. Everybody had an outstanding practice with one exception. And this man, Charles Barkley, and nobody wanted him on their team. They kept saying to Lenny Wilkins, hey, put him on another team. We don't want him. He's messing us up.
And no one shy about relaying that to
No,
Charles.
Absolutely not. And Charles thought it was going to cost him some playing time today and immediately started politicking to make sure that he was going to get some.
6-0 run by the Dream Team. They now trail by 8. It's the start of the 5-game exhibition tour, which will lead to the Olympics in Atlanta. Pierce and Skinner keeping it alive, and Skinner with the bucket, and he was fouled. Lively body, Brian Skinner out of Baylor. He'll be a junior next season. Averaged 17 points, 9 rebounds as a sophomore.
Well, Taylor got away with a little bit of a shove on David Robinson to get him out of the way. But when you look at Brian Skinner, he immediately reminds you of a young even a bigger John Sally. And, of course, the goggles has something to do with that. And his game is very similar to John Sally as well.
Gary Payton coming off a terrific playoff run for the Sonics. Late addition to the squad, to the Dream Team. Robinson. They collapsed on Robinson. Oh, what a pass. And Taylor was fouled. A bullet pass. And Richmond is called for the foul.
Well, Chauncey Billups has become the backup point guard for the select team. Beautiful no-looker there.
Yeah, Mike Montgomery doing lots of shuffling. It's a 16-man squad that eventually will be cut to 12, and all 16 players figure to play here this afternoon. Tim Young out of Stanford, who just checked in, protecting the ball. And Phillips regrouping against Pippen. Phillips. O'Neal got a piece of it. And here's Pippen on the run. Leading Payton. Nicely executed break by the Dream Team. They now trail by 8 points. Carr with his first field goal attempt. Corey Carr out of Texas Tech extends to a 39-28 lead for Carr, a three-pointer.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Mark, that the main weakness of this young team is their lack of perimeter shooting. They think Anthony Parker can shoot it well. Lewis Bullock is a streaky shooter, but can get on a hot roll from about 18 feet. Pete Lasicki out of Penn State is a pretty good shooter, but the others are very low percentage shooters during their college days. So this is something that Mike Montgomery and his assistants were worried about coming into this ballgame, whether or not they would make any jump shots. That question has been answered, at least in the early going.
Well, they're 16 of 26 from the field. Maurice Taylor called for the foul to put Shaquille O'Neal at the line. The Dream Team is at 55%. So it's not as if they're shooting the ball poorly. 11 of 20 overall. And a timeout is called with 7:38 left. First half. It'll be from Cleveland, from the Gund Arena, 4 o'clock Eastern time, right here on NBC. Barkley. Charles Barkley with the field goal, and he will go to the line looking for a 6th point, and it's now a 7-point differential.
Well, a couple of days in practice, the select team worked on doubling down, much as they do in the NBA on a consistent basis, but this team did not do it very well, so he tried to forget about that, just try to play hit up inside. As Mitch Richmond, an outstanding defensive player, probably doesn't get the credit for it that he should, because he's such a good scorer, but he is a terrific all-around player. You know, he was one of the last players chosen on this team with Charles Barkley, and of course Gary Payton taking over for Glenn Robinson. But you're hard-pressed to figure out who the 11th and 12th men are on this team. But so far, it's been Akeem Olajuwon and Penny Hardaway, as they have not seen any action.
Off the pressure, turnover gives the ball back to the Dream Team. Payton, nice lead pass from Pippen. So the 14-point lead is now down to 4. Lewis Bullock now running the team at point guard. This is Lasicki from Penn State. And here comes Payton. Broken up by Bullock. Recovered by Barkley. Yes, and it counts. Charles Barkley having a ball out there. He has 8 points. He'll go to the line. It's now down to a 2-point lead.
Yeah, with some of the physiques out here, like Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, they are just so much stronger than these people. Now, that was a hard foul by Sam Oakey, who can commit hard fouls. He's got one of those international basketball type of bodies. Charles Barkley, I think, was ready for it and able to just go right through it and finish the play.
Sam Oakey, 6'7", 220 pounds, out of Wisconsin, coming off a very solid freshman season. Yes, Charles enjoyed that play, and again the pressure by the Dream Team. And a foul called on Richmond, his second. Here's Hakeem Olajuwon. And Penny Hardaway coming on for the first time. Lenny Wilkins telling us that Penny breathing heavily after the first couple of practices and is getting back into it after taking some time off from basketball following the playoff elimination by the Chicago Bulls.
It might be a little bit of a message from Lenny, and also to Hakeem, who was not able to play after his season ended, bothered by the tendonitis in the knee.
And that is a traveling violation. Charles Barkley has led his club back in just a shade over 6 minutes. He's hit 3 of 3 from the field. He has 9 points in all and 4 rebounds. 6.5 remaining in the first half. It is now a 1-point lead for the U.S. select team. Olajuwon with his favorite shot.
I was really in awe, at the start of the game, playing, with John Stockton out there, one of the greats. One of my all-time favorites is Gary Payton. He's on the team, and Penny Hardaway, that's just some of the guards that were on the team. I mean, and you got the Shaqs and Karl Malones and Scottie Pippen, Grant Hill. I mean, it was just so many great players. And for me, again, you talk about, getting a gauge on where you're at. This is your dream to be able to make it to the NBA. And all of us on that USA team were kind of one step away from that. And so this was a measuring stick, for us to get out there, not only to meet these dudes that we, idolized for so long, but to compete and to compete really hard against them. So again, this was like a measuring stick, and I think we all gained so much confidence playing that game against these guys.
That's a 3-second violation.
I asked Lenny last night if they were going to play any zone defense. No, he looked at me like I was crazy. Why? We don't have to. But I would think they'd have to do it a little bit to work against it, because I'm sure they will see it come Olympic competition time. They might not even need to work against it. That's all you got to do is get into the middle of that zone and look baseline.
Lenny Wilkins, head coach, of course, of the Atlanta Hawks, a Hall of Famer. As a player, a 9-time NBA All-Star, and he was an assistant to Chuck Daly in Barcelona. Kickball is called. This is Lewis Bullock, who was an 85% free throw shooter. He was fouled in the act of attempting a 3-point shot, so he has the 3 free throws. And the select team is up 44-40. For those who may have just tuned in, the Dream Team at one point down by as many as 14. Malone able to keep it alive. Payton. And Malone has the pass picked off. Oki for Carr, who has the range and hits. 3-pointer for Carr. That's his second from downtown.
The select team is doing a good job in those situations. A semi-fast break, it gets shut off, and then swinging the ball with a cross-court pass behind the 3-point arc, and they've been able to make that shot so far this afternoon.
Nice ball movement, but broken up. The select team with an 8-0 run.
I really thought that Tim Duncan, he was throughout training camp, and then even when we played, you could tell he was just going to be a special player. And when he stepped on the floor with those guys, I think he blocked Shaq's shot. He just, he made a presence inside, and wasn't intimidated at all. So I felt like Tim Duncan was a guy that really stood out.
With the select team over the foul limit. Any chance of a competitive situation, even here in the first half, because he said, you really can't yell at anyone. You try to be positive. He may begin yelling in the second half.
Karl Malone doing what he does best defensively, and that's strip the ball down low. Very good at that maneuver.
Miller for 3. And rebounded by Young, and here is Carr with a breakaway.
Out on the floor with Penny Hardaway and Scottie Pippen, and when Reggie took that shot from the left corner, both Hardaway and Pippen sneaking in closer to the baseline and maybe going to the offensive glass, and nobody protected backcourt. But that will happen in an all-star type of situation where players are not used to playing with one another.
Hardaway for three. Rebounded by Pippen. And Pippen fouled. Grant Hill getting set to check back in.
There's Karl Malone, not really a shot blocker up top, but very good down low. Anybody that puts the ball down in the waist knee area, he's able to skip it. You see all of the Dream Teamers flattened out across what would be the dotted line area. Nobody back on defense, and the Select team getting one of their easiest baskets of the afternoon.
And the catalyst for the USA Select team, who contributed so much to the fast start, Brevin Knight, point guard out of Stanford, is back on the floor. Select team leading 50-42 with just under 3 minutes remaining in this first half. This is Knight with the ball, guarded by Hardaway. Duncan is back, played by Olajuwon. Here's Duncan, blocked and fouled. Foul committed by Akeem.
Well, both Brevin Knight and Tim Duncan did a terrific job at the start of this game and then sat for a very long stretch. But I think Mike Montgomery felt that wanted to get everybody else into the ball game, get them all involved, and as long as they were either in the lead or close enough, that he would keep those guys out.
Tim Duncan out of St. Croix and the Virgin Islands, the ACC Player of the Year. Began playing basketball in the 9th grade as a 6'1" backcourt man. His first love was actually swimming. Turned to basketball when the growth spurt began. Had he come out, as you mentioned earlier, passed on his senior year at Wake Forest, might have been the top pick in the draft. Hopefully with the save.
And it looks like the Dream Team will need some work against the zone. That time just passing the ball around the perimeter and not very crisply at that. And that's really not the best way to attack. You've got to get it in the middle of that thing and break that zone down.
Select team 19 of 30 from the field, 63% shooting. While the Dream Team at 15 of 27. Duncan rejected by Olajuwon. John Stockton, Penny Hardaway now in the backcourt. Here's Reggie Miller for three. Nice move by Knight. Again, had the notion to penetrate, then came back out. Oki, a wide open Seals, and then as he looked behind him and saw Olajuwon, he's called for steps. A minute 12 remaining in what has been a lackluster first half for the Dream Team. I don't think anyone anticipated that they would be down by as many as 14, then out trailing by 12. Stockton, way off.
Well, the Dream Team just settling for those jump shots. They're there. Reggie Miller has had a couple of good looks. Penny Hardaway couldn't get him to fall. And then Stockton with a wild one there.
And we heard a smattering of boos directed to the Dream Team for the very first time. The steal. Knight off the steal. Make it 56-42.
Brevin Knight just doing a terrific job at both ends of the floor.
You know, the Select team can go home right now. There is nothing that can happen in the second half that will ruin their day.
Just leave, go right through the tunnel, get on the bus, say, we did our job.
It's an amazing performance. Of course, it certainly helps to hit your shots, and they've caught the Dream Team on the right day. I expect that things will turn around and the Dream Team will pull it out by a substantial margin. But the damage has been done here in the first half. I can just see some of the better clubs like Croatia, Lithuania, Yugoslavia thinking, hey, there's a shot.
Well, I wouldn't think Lenny Wilkens is all that upset in that this serves as a wake-up call more than anything he could say to his players in a week of practice. He may not even have to say that much at halftime. He's just going to remember who played best in that first half at the defensive end and get him out on the floor in the second half.
Here's Seals for three.
When I first got the call, I was excited because I had a chance to try out for the team the previous summer. And didn't make it. It was a really good team with Ray Allen, Allen Iverson, a lot of great players. And when I got the call to do it again the following summer, I was ecstatic.
In this first half here at the Palace.
Basketball has been a game changer for me.
It's helped me grow as a teammate and a leader.
By establishing standards for youth development, USA Basketball is making a difference for players of all ages.
Through education and training,
they're helping to make the game safer
and more fun. Make sure your child is taught the right way.
Ensure you're the best coach you can be.
To learn more, visit usab.com or download the USA Basketball mobile app.
Swoops with the follow. Swatted out of bounds by Griffith and Leslie. Griffith crashing over press row. Bird with a pretty pass once again. Excellent pass. Quickly on the break again, Leslie finishes for Team USA.
Looking to qualify for the World Championships in Australia next summer. This for players 22 years of age and younger. Richmond with the step, and a foul is called.
14.
Number 9.
Let's check in with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Well, Marvin, Matt, obviously Lenny Wilkens not happy with the first half performance, but he was smiling. He said, you know what, this was a great wake-up call. We have to come back out in the second half, play better defense. We got to make sure that we're getting our tails back down the floor. That simply wasn't the case. The other area that he's concerned about is the pressure on the point guard. Brevin Knight and Chauncey did an excellent job of penetrating and breaking down the defense. As you saw them come out in the second half, much better, much more intensity.
All right, Cheryl, you coaches, or in some cases, former coaches, all think alike. You mentioned Lenny would look at it as a wake-up call.
Well, you can't get upset with his team right now, having only practiced 5 days. You never want to come out and play like the Dream Team did in the first set to tone defensively. But quite frankly, John Stockton really didn't do that early in the ballgame against Brevin Knight. Brevin Knight was able to get into the lane and get anything he wanted early.
And Payton gets to the lane. Payton with the rebound. Richmond, and Pippen bottled up and fouled.
Well, I mean, from the beginning, I started off guarding Grant Hill. You know, I always looked up to Grant Hill. I really kind of patterned my game after him because he could, you know, he could do everything. He could shoot it, he could pass it, he could make plays. He was just like a, you know, a big point guard that can do multiple things. And from the beginning, you know, he's taller than me, but, you know, I felt like I had good strength against him. And but he has a long, quick first step. And then also guarding Scottie Pippen. I mean, when you guard somebody like Scottie Pippen that you grow up idolizing as well, you know, you kind of fearful at the beginning, but, you know, once you play basketball, it's about basketball.
Duncan with Olajuwon trailing him up high. Able to find Crocier. Good look by Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is one of those players who does a little bit of everything. He's really not a power low-post center. A lot of people think he's going to be a big forward when he gets in the NBA. Reminds most people of Brad Doherty, but that was a beautiful feed inside to Crocier.
Pippen, yes. It's a 3 for Pippen. So 10 points for Scottie Pippen. It is a 10-point lead for the select team.
We see Gary Payton getting a little ground here, not getting up and getting into Brevin Knight, as he does respect his penetration right now.
Oh, Shea Seals with a no-look shot from three-point range off the glass. Shea Seals throwing him up from all angles and hitting. Duncan with the rebound. And here's Crocier. Foul. Oh, wallop by Payton.
Well, Shea Seals, who's been a terrific player in the Missouri Valley Conference, making the first team the last couple of years, a good, solid player, averaged 18 a game last year, but he's checking him out, Scottie Pippen, saying, what did you have for breakfast this morning, as he cannot miss from the perimeter. But Shea Seals, just a 42% shooter during his college junior year.
He is Tulsa's all-time leader in three-point field goals. But I don't think he had this kind of day in mind.
Well, he came out right away. Had the first shot and that he looked at, he just drilled it, and it's been confidence just ebbing and flowing out of his body ever since.
He's 7 of 8 from the field. He has 17 points. Pippen, and he draws the foul. So again, Pippen to the line.
And it's not like Scottie Pippen is not a good defensive player who is aware of Mr. Seals right now, and the hot hand that he has had is getting up on him. In fact, he made him change that long shot, which is, I think, why it went off the glass. But when you're hot.
The United States will open up their Olympic schedule Saturday, July 20th. Against Argentina. They have their Brevin Knight going all the way, but rejected by Hakeem Olajuwon. Here is Richmond, and rebounded by Duncan. 2-on-1. Crocier, and it's an offensive foul, a charge.
The leading shot blocker in NBA history, Hakeem Olajuwon.
4 minutes gone by in the second half. Richmond. Barkley had it slapped away. Open shot for Knight. And the ball goes back to the Dream Team. Timeout taken. The Select Team up by 14. We'll be right back. You know, Matt, you keep anticipating, looking for a run by the Dream Team. They had that one good run in the first half where things will turn around, but it has not occurred, and we're 4.5 minutes into the second half.
Well, to get that run, you have to do something defensively. You got to get some steals. You've got to force some bad shots, and you got to get out and go. And so far, even though the Select Team not shooting the ball particularly well here in the second half, they're getting good shots, which is enabling them at least to have good floor balance and get back on defense and prevent any runouts.
Foul was called on Corey Carr. That is his third. Lenny Wilkens staying with Richmond and Payton, along with Pippen in a three-guard alignment with Olajuwon and Barkley. Here's Payton. Knight has the 2-on-1, takes it all the way. And back comes Pippen. Payton blows the layup. And Olajuwon is fouled.
An outstanding defensive play by Scottie Pippen on that run out by Brevin Knight, set up on the poor passing by Gary Payton. And Pippen did what you should do when you're taller than a 5'8", 5'9" little guard. It's just keep backing up, make him shoot the ball, don't leave your feet. And he really forced Brevin Knight out of his rhythm. But the one thing that the Select Team felt that they could do against the Dream Team is get out and run. They expected maybe some poor transition defense, and they have been able to get out and get some good looks to the basket. And we've seen some outstanding outlet passes by Tim Duncan, reminding you a lot of Wes Unseld. Hey!
Pressure by the Dream Team. Duncan had established that he was in bounds. He thought he had turned it over when he got the ball back after inbounding. Here's Duncan, rejected by Olajuwon. Taylor. Olajuwon altered that shot. And the Select Team will maintain possession.
All right, Mike Montgomery over on the sideline, still working it, working the officials there. He felt that Duncan was fouled on that strong post move. We said earlier he is not known as a power player inside, more of a jump hook from the right baseline, more of a face-up shooter.
They double up on Seals, and he threw it away. Again, the Select Team able to get back. And Barkley beat Duncan to cut it to 10. Charles refusing to give the ball back.
Charles would like to just stay at that offensive end, but that was a slow break situation. Charles did the right thing, just ran down, established some kind of position in front of the rim. Payton patiently waited for him and then delivered.
And an exchange between Barkley and the official Lonnie Dixon, who called a delay of game. It's the warning on the Dream Team. Seals with a rare miss. Duncan gets it out to Carr. And a reach-in foul charged to Richmond. Apparently was deflected out of bounds by Richmond. No foul. Here's Miller coming on for Richmond. Taylor. And again, it's Duncan on the offensive glass. Taylor had it slapped away. Pippen has a 3-on-2. Pippen slicing his way down the lane. And it's an 8-point select team lead. Scottie Pippen has 13 points.
Well, now you're starting to feel it. The defense is getting much more frisky for the Dream Team, much more active with their hands and ready to get out and run. They know that's how they can get back into this game quickly.
7-0 run by the Dream Team.
We've seen some of the big men for the select team bring that ball down low, and anytime you do that against NBA caliber, you should say legends really for that matter, you're going to get that ball taken away from you. Nice job by Pippen.
Olajuwon called on that foul on the double team, and then Payton with the steal. Here's Pippen behind the back for Barkley. Miller did not expect the pass. Saved by Olajuwon. It counts. And the foul. And for the first time, you can sense that the Dream Team has something going in sustained fashion. They are now within 6, plus the free throw coming up for Akeem.
Well, there's some of that overpassing that Lenny Wilkens was talking about during the practice sessions, although Barkley was sealed off, did the right thing, and then Reggie Miller just lost the ball, but there Olajuwon able to clean up on the weak side.
Olajuwon gunning for his 11th point. 3-point play. The select team with a 68-63 lead. A 10-0 run by the Dream Team. We'll be back at the Palace in a moment. 10-0 run by the Dream Team. They are now within 5 after trailing by as many as 17. And you can see the pressure by the Dream Team. A foul on Payton. Payton trying to strip Bullock.
I was talking to Rod Thorne, part of the selection committee, before the ballgame. Asked him why Payton and not Sean Kemp, who a lot of people felt might make this team. And Rod said we needed a backcourt player who could get up and pressure the basketball, disrupt the other team's point guard, make plays. And that's what they felt they needed with this team. Not that Sean Kemp didn't deserve to make it, but they felt the Dream Team was loaded with front court players.
Nice move by Lewis Bullock out of Michigan. And right back, Scottie Pippen on the transition. He now has 15 points. It's a 5-point lead for the select team.
And that really bothered Coach Mike Montgomery. They know that the Dream Team is going to be able to score in a lot of different ways. They just do not want to give up those kinds of easy baskets in transition when you should be back.
Taylor not able to hit. And here comes Payton. Lenny Wilkens staying with this unit in the second half, although he started Richmond. He came on with Miller. Olajuwon off the good ball movement. It's down to a 3-point lead. 11:50 to go in the second half. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, and Cheryl Miller from the Palace of Auburn Hills. Pierce with the ball fake. Pippen did not go for it. Again, Payton all over Bullock. Bullock getting the pick. Shot clock down to 2, down to 1. Pierce releasing. Olajuwon. And Barkley with the rebound and lost the handle.
Well, everybody up playing defense for the Dream Team, led by the pressure by Payton, but that gets everybody else playing defense as well. The wing player, Scottie Pippen, and here Charles Barkley getting up and getting after people. And Charles knows if he goes out there and hustles defensively, he's going to get his team back into this ball game, get him a lead, and of course we'll get the more playing time, which is what he wants down the road.
Pierce for three. Taylor, oh, spectacular, sweeping stuff on the follow by Maurice Taylor of Michigan. And the crowd loved it. Maurice Taylor, 6'8", 230 pounds. He grew up in Detroit and plays his college ball at Michigan. Olajuwon, yes. 72-69, the Select team with the lead.
Charles Barkley is getting a little bit tired, and that time he lost contact with Maurice Taylor. Didn't really know where he was at all. Turned and felt he was going to get the rebound himself, and that's what enabled Taylor to get in there for that stuff.
Bullock went to the crossover. Oh, Pierce through the foul. Strong move by Paul Pierce out of Kansas. Foul on Olajuwon is third.
Well, Charles Barkley just turned his head and got to rebounding position and never laid the body on Maurice Taylor, who had a clear path right in there with nobody in front of him able to finish off that play. And Maurice Taylor has that big, strong NBA-type power forward body, but has been a little bit of a disappointment in their workouts because he's been injured much of the time. Has been bothered by a bad hamstring.
Tim Duncan sitting down. Mike Montgomery doing some shuffling as Paul Pierce goes to the line. The California Player of the Year as a senior at Inglewood High School in the shadow of the Great Western Forum, the home of the Los Angeles Lakers. Paul Pierce entering his sophomore year at Kansas.
A lot of people, Marv, are saying he's the best high school player to come out of Southern California since Ed O'Bannon, who will be going into his second year with the New Jersey Nets.
Well, Pippen lost the dribble. Payton on the recovery, and Pippen brings it to a two-point Select team lead. And Pippen pressing Bullock on the inbounds, was looking for the steal with the opportunity to tie it. Bullock for three. And Miller with the rebound. Here's David Robinson for Hakeem Olajuwon. Lenny Wilkins going with the two centers. He has threatened to go with threes with O'Neal, Robinson, and Olajuwon, but that has not occurred to this point.
Well, tough break for the Select team. Looked like they had a fast break opportunity, but this is why Gary Payton was the Defensive Player of the Year. Plays like that, able to sense what is happening on the floor at all times, could read the eyes of the ball handler there, just stepped into the passing lane and took away an easy opportunity from the opponent and got an easy one for his team.
Yes, the glove picked one off and then was able to set up Pippen. Here's Pierce. Skinner. And Pippen able to protect against Bailey. Miller for three. He's been off. He hit his first three-pointer, but has not been able to relocate the range. Grant Hill checking back in, replacing Scottie Pippen, and a hand for Pippen. 17 for the Chicago Bulls All-Star.
Oh, no question. Pippen, Barkley, and Payton able to get the Dream Team back into this ball game.
Pippen 6 of 9 from the field. Robinson getting position, and he has tied the game at 73. So the Dream Team has come from a 17-point deficit. A 20-5 spurt to tie it. Skinner, rebound Robinson. On the acceleration, foul.
Yeah, that game was a big deal for me and my confidence. In the feel like, you know, I could make the league. I could be a good player, because this is not just NBA players. These were the best. And I'm saying, dang, I know I'm not on their level. You know, I'm not Gary Payton. I'm not Penny. I'm not those dudes. But if there's a few steps under that are still in the NBA, then I think that I can belong in the NBA. It's kind of where my mind was at.
Of the Dream Team because of their aggressive defense overall in the second half.
So the Dream Team with the lead for the first time since it was 40-39. They opened up with the three-pointer by Reggie Miller. It was close throughout the first half, and then the Select team able to pull it away with that 20-2 close to the first half. With just under 8 minutes remaining, second half. Pierce picked off by Miller. Here's Hill trying to get it to Payton.
Grant knew he had Payton going in on the left side and tried to make a pass off balance and not act exactly under control, but that'll happen.
Timeout is called. We'll be right back. Phillips for three. Yes. Chauncey Billups out of Colorado, who will be entering his sophomore season as a freshman. He averaged just under 18 points per game. He's given the Select team a 2-point lead. And Robinson was tied up and fouled by Brian Skinner. Back, the first 23 minutes of the game, the Dream Team with only 2 fast break points. The last 9 minutes, 13 fast break points. That has helped to turn it around. They had outscored the Select team 21-5 over that span.
A lot of credit has to go to Brevin Knight. He did such a good job early in the ball game of controlling the tempo. And of course, when you're making shots, that makes everything go much better also, because you're not going to run that much out of the net. But since he has gone to the bench, the Select team is, of course, not as sharp. They don't really have a backup point guard. They're using Chauncey Billups some. They're using Lewis Bullock. But they're not really natural point guards and not really comfortable getting the Select team into any kind of easy offense.
David Robinson with 10 points, and he's tied the game at 76. Billups being watched by Payton. Payton with the steal. 3-on-1. The lead for Hill, but it was overthrown. Oh, the crowd wanted that one.
Well, Gary Payton is used to throwing that up for Shawn Kemp, who probably can get up just a wee bit higher than Grant Hill, although Grant Hill has had some spectacular alley-oops as well. But Karl Malone did a terrific job there of helping out Gary Payton on that steal to start that fast break attempt.
Robinson got a piece of it, but Skinner recaptured, and the foul call.
Well, no ball handled, no pass is easy right now, as the Dream Teamers are really getting after it defensively.
David Robinson with his 4th foul. Here's John Stockton replacing Gary Payton. Not a sharp day for Payton, but made some big plays here in this Dream Team comeback the last few moments. In international play, on the 5th foul, the player is disqualified rather than 6 in the NBA. And a foul on Duncan. That is his 3rd. Select team is over the foul limit.
Swoops with the follow. Swatted out of bounds by Griffith and Leslie. Griffith crashing over press row. Bird with a pretty pass once again. Excellent. Quickly on the break again, Leslie finishes for Team USA.
Take a look at Lenny Wilkens. He's going to have to get his team ready on the fly, playing a lot of games this week. And of course, that's a difficult way to do it. On the other hand, with a group like this, trying to get things done in practice is so hard because they really get after each other and go very hard. But they're not really working on things as much as getting themselves in shape, getting in condition, getting familiar with one another as far as their timing is concerned.
I would think in the long run there will be very few problems. You look at the big picture here, certainly a disappointing performance by the Dream Team. But I think the post-game explanation will be, well, we've been rusty, we haven't played together. There will be many who will not accept that, though, because you look at the college kids, and certainly in the same situation, and you look at the difference in the talent level, you say, what's going on here? Stockton hitting on the reverse. That is his first field goal.
Yeah, the excuse of, hey, these are just young college kids. How can we get up for them? That won't necessarily fly. But I think the NBA players will be freely admitting that they just did not come out mentally ready and did not come out and do anything at the defensive end. And that's how they got themselves in that big hole in the first half.
Foul committed by Karl Malone. And now Brevin Knight returns, replacing Chauncey Billups. 5:45 remaining in the second half. From long range, Shea Seals.
I remember when I left the floor, I talked to Charles Barkley, and he was praising me about how well I played. He even made a comment and said, man, you had a heck of a game, man. You just made yourself a lot of money. I said, well, I hope so. But it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that time. I do remember, even after the game, I was still in awe of all those guys, and I took my shoes and had each one of those pros just sign my shoes after competing with them. That's how special those guys were to me.
Right here on NBC 4 o'clock Eastern Time.
Karl Malone has adjusted now to the new 5-second count in international competition, when normally during NBA play was taking all of those 10 seconds available to him, and the Seattle people would say he went over that limit many times.
3-point lead for the Dream Team. And John Stockton is called for the hand check foul. So for the Dream Team, their 6th team foul.
And Karl Malone just popped Brevin Knight. He picked on the smallest guy on the floor.
He just shoved Knight. Upset about something. I don't know if Knight made a remark to Malone. Duncan. And Malone with the rebound. Karl is not out there fooling around.
Oh, he's obviously frustrated, disappointed with the way that he has played. He really hasn't been able to get into anything, and obviously upset with the way his team is playing. And I'm sure a lot of players on the Dream Team very frustrated.
Here's Reggie Miller. So Miller taking it to the basket, and the Dream Team leads 84-79. Knight's pass picked off by Malone. Stockton with Malone and broken up by Knight. You okay? Good job by Knight to get back.
Well, you got to always respect Reggie Miller's ability to shoot from the perimeter. You got to get up into him, but Reggie will put it on the deck and get to the hole, as he did very nicely on that opportunity.
Hill. Oh, beautiful move by Grant Hill. And Brevin Knight, who is a superb free throw shooter, 85%, shooting a couple. First team all Pac-10 the past 2 years, led Stanford, averaged 15 points and 7 assists, and has really made his mark here this afternoon. Not too many people have seen Brevin Knight play. Great job done by this U.S. select team, the coaching staff of Mike Montgomery, along with Bill Harrion, the head coach at Drexel, and Karl Malone extending to an 88-81 lead. Oliver Purnell is the head coach at Dayton. In all our conversations the last couple of days, here's Hill to put it down. And the Dream Team now leads 90-81. It was merely a question of by how many points would this U.S. Select team be blown out, and that certainly was not the case, as they led by as many as 17 points. Parker not able to hit, and the Dream Team on a roll. Miller, miscommunication with Robinson. He thought Robinson was headed the other way. Timeout is called. 3:23 remaining in the game, and 9-point advantage for the Dream Team. Coming up on 3 minutes to go in the game, and a 9-point lead for the Dream Team. The Select team just 7 of 26 from the field in the second half after the hot shooting at the start. And on the turnover, the Dream Team will get it back. John Stockton on the floor now with Reggie Miller, Grant Hill, David Robinson, and Karl Malone.
Going into their 2-3 zone defense, which gave the Dream Team a little bit of a problem in that first half. Of course, they'll be content just to move the ball around and use some clock and get out of here with a win at this point.
They'll be delighted to leave with the W. Whoa, look out. Karl Malone off the fake.
Anthony Parker just flipping over the back of Karl Malone and falling very, very hard on that left shoulder. Reggie Miller over to make sure that Parker is okay.
Anthony Parker out of Bradley, the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. Oh, hit the deck hard, but says he's all right. Parker committed the foul, and it's Malone to the line. 10-point lead for the Dream Team. The original Dream Team back in 1992, cruising to the Olympic gold medal. In the Olympic competition, winning by an average of nearly 44 points per game. And there will be comparisons. This is only exhibition play, but you know there will be comparisons. Taylor showing the touch, but returning from that team are Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, and Karl Malone, David Robinson, and John Stockton. Here's Parker, blocked from behind by Hill. Knight finding Seals for three. That's the first time he's missed from three-point range. And Miller pops it down. Oh, a little bit too much on it.
Nice job by Grant Hill not giving up on this play as Stockton being borne down on by Parker, but Hill trailing the play, not taking anything for granted, coming from behind. But how about that high hard one on the pass attempt by David Robinson? Looked like Randy Johnson out there.
A minute 51 remaining in the game. The Dream Team leading 92-83. The Dream Team with a 92-83 lead. In an unlikely scenario, they were down by as many as 17 points. Extraordinary shooting by the Select team in the first half, led by Shea Seals of Tulsa, who was the high man for the Select team with 20 points on 8 of 11, 4 of 5 from three-point range.
Well, this Select team coming into this game a little bit worried about getting blown out, but looking for the experience, try to learn from some of the great NBA players that they were playing against, but really trying to come together a little bit as a team. They felt they were just fodder for the Dream Team, but really coming out of this with much more than that. A tremendous experience that I'm sure they'll remember for the rest of their lives, no matter what else happens.
John Stockton called for the foul, putting Brevin Knight at the line. Outstanding performance by Brevin Knight. 21 minutes, 6 points, 5 assists, only 2 turnovers, but he made this team go in that extraordinary first half. A minute and a half remaining. Stockton, and the Dream Team leads 94-85. Taylor had it slapped away by Malone. Tough angle shot by Chauncey Billups. And the Green team leads 94-87. From the media criticism point of view, the fact that this game is being played late Saturday afternoon will avoid a lot of the critiquing because they get right back to it on Sunday, and it may not be enough time for all the columnists and reporters around the country to really get a feel for what took place here today. Scottie Pippen, our Visa player of the game, 6 of 9 from the field, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. I thought it was the combination of Pippen and Barkley and Olajuwon and the defensive play of Payton in the second half that turned things around for a team that was struggling most of the way.
And that's the message that Lenny Wilkens wanted to get across to all 12 of his team members, that this is the kind of defense that they're just going to have to come out and play on a consistent basis, no matter what the score is, no matter whom they're playing against.
96-89, 7-point lead for the Green team. Taylor got a piece of it. Stockton checking the clock. Robinson. And we're down to a half minute to go. Phillips not able to hit after hanging. Here's Malone. And Duncan with the rebound with 15 seconds remaining. The Select team will maintain possession. Mike Montgomery, the head coach at Stanford,
did a terrific job with his team. Actually, on those last possession, they're only down by 7. Probably should have been looking for a three-pointer, not aware of the clock.
Oh, what a pass. Knight setting up Duncan, who will go to the free throw line. Foul committed by Miller. We're down to 7 3/10 seconds left in the game.
I got a chance to talk to Tim Duncan before the game and asked him about how tough a decision was it for him to not to come into the NBA draft this year. He said it was very difficult, went right down to the closing minutes, but he wanted to finish his education. He's a very good student at Wake Forest, and he also feels very strongly that his team at Wake Forest has an excellent chance of winning an NCAA title. So Dave Odom, I'm very happy to have Tim back for next season.
Tim intent on getting his degree in psychology. Said he promised his mother that he would get it. Final seconds, and the Green team breathing a sigh of relief as they escape with a 6-point win over a group of college players, the USA Select team that did a job against a Dream team that was on the lethargic side, no question about it, in the first half. The final 96-90. The high point meant Scottie Pippen with 17, Akeem Olajuwon with 16, Karl Malone with 13 points.
Swoops with the follow. Swatted out of bounds by Griffith and Leslie. Griffith crashing over press row. Bird with a pretty pass once again. Excellent. Quickly on the break again, Leslie finishes for Team USA.